Okay, part two. Hopefully we left you in enough suspense to want to see this. Okay, right off, when we were taking that break, I discussed something that some people, an aspect of football more than any other sport, not all, it's off the field, that is, some people believe it happens, others don't, but it's very important, to a lot, to the, the parents and the kids, and also to some other people, especially when they're concerned about safety and everything else. Is it true, like what you see on TV and in the movies, how parents, not all, but some parents do put a lot of pressure on their children to be the best? And I don't want you to, if you don't want to offend anyone, I understand, but I think this really needs to be, touched on. Just it goes to the, even to a point that's like a child's social development and everything else. So, is it true with some, not all?
It most definitely is true. What you see on TV is those parents manhandling other parents or getting in fights, and more so verbally sometimes here it happens. But yeah, it definitely does happen, and the only outlook I see in that is either the parent, and again, I hope I'm not offending anybody, but sometimes the parent looks through their kid. If they didn't succeed as a youth at football, they're trying to push their kid to succeed where they didn't get.
Almost like trying to live that part of their life
all over again through their child's.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is, I don't like that. I mean, the kid, we got to let the child be a child. He doesn't need all that pressure at this age, not even all the way up to 13. They don't need that pressure.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is, and you're, as a father, basically if they're not good at one thing, basically, okay, let them try something else. They might,
That's correct.
Okay, they might not be good at sports, but you know what? They could end up being the next, 3D graphics designer and end up working for a major movie company, or even starting one up. So,
again, I'm not trying to, sorry to interrupt.
No, sorry.
I'm not trying to offend any parent if they see this, but I've seen parents push their child, and darn well the child doesn't want to be here.
Right.
Doesn't want to play football. So when that happens, now you're taking time away from us coaching the children that want to be here and just trying to get this child to enjoy football, because football is a very rigorous sport. It's tough, it's grueling, but we also try to have fun here.
Right.
Because they are children.
And not only that, have fun before they hit the high school and college level, where the pressure comes on of, you're going to make the pros, you're going to make the, you got to be a Heisman Trophy. So basically let them see that they enjoy the sport before the real pressure and the semi-legitimate pressure comes on, basically.
Correct.
Okay. Now you've been doing this for 26 years, which is a very long time. How did you get, I realize that you played football,
right.
Okay, but going from being on the field to coaching it, what was it? Was there a deciding factor? Was it kind of like a natural evolution for you?
I think it was just natural. Again, I'm going to bring up North Parkland. There's a gentleman over there. He is actually still coaching there. His name's Terry Stout. I look up to Terry Stout. I see him doing it. I even think he's like in his 80s. I think that's how old he is.
Kind of like Joe Paterno.
Kind of like Joe Paterno.
Yeah.
And not that I want to be like that, but
right.
Look what he's done to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just want to give out what I can give out with football to everybody that comes through this program.
Okay.
What I know, I want them to know.
Okay. So basically, as far as a coach, it's not only just coaching the team, it's also like influencing the players' lives and everything. It's what a teacher would do, essentially, part of a teacher's job.
Correct.
I
have 2 daughters, and I keep telling the boys that go through this and there's girls that go through this program, that I don't have boys. You're my boys.
Right.
So this is my family as well.
Yeah, kind of an extension of the family.
Correct.
Now, have you ever had a desire to go up to like a high school or you know, like basically, you know, start working your way up? Have you ever had a desire to do that, or do you have too much fun and enjoy this too much?
I kind of like what I'm doing. I mean,
Okay.
last year I took a year off just to help run the sport,
Right.
and just that year off, I missed coaching.
Okay.
So I'm back. So I don't know if I would ever want to go up to high school.
Okay.
I think my next move in football is to be an official.
Okay. And that's, I don't care what sport it is, I don't care what level, you're an official in a game, just that's probably one of the worst jobs you could have.
Sure.
You know, I'm not saying anything bad about the officials, but they're the ones that take all the flack before the coach, before before anyone else. I actually was at Lehigh Valley Sports Fest. I covered that this year, and I caught the flag football on Sunday, the last day.
Yeah, I saw that on TV.
Which was really cool. And even in flag football, I'm like, I figure, okay, the guys are having a great time. I actually saw one guy get thrown out for giving the ref a hard time.
Sure.
I'm like, okay, you know, it's like, I didn't think they took it that seriously. So,
Oh, they do.
you know,
Oh, and it's saying, going back to the parent thing, if a parent, we usually have ropes that border the football field, so the parents, that's like, can't go over the rope.
right,
We've had parents go under the rope and come onto the field, and the referees throw them out. Well, a couple
Unbelievable.
years ago, we had a parent come onto the field, and I ran out to that parent and say, listen, you can't be on the field. That becomes a safety issue.
right,
You're not, you know, there's all sorts of things. There's insurances. We are covered for all the kids that play here, but we don't cover the parent.
right,
So if that parent steps foot out on the field and little Johnny hits him and knocks him over and breaks his leg or whatever, he's not covered by us.
right,
Plus, he's not supposed to be where
Right.
you know, he's not supposed to be at that position.
yeah.
So,
So they actually do, the parents actually do try to, on rare
I might
occasions,
be to the extreme. You know what I mean?
on rare occasions.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not, now,
We try to put it under lock. You know what I mean? We try
Right.
to police that as best as we can.
Nobody's perfect,
but it's
though.
hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
because your focus, the reason why you're there is to be looking at the field,
Right.
not looking behind you.
Correct.
Now, I want to touch, because we hit one side, we have to hit the other. I want to hit the other. There are parents out there, which I'm sure there are a lot more than people may realize, that, okay, if their kid doesn't like football, you know what, let's pull them out.
Sure.
You know, where, hey, look, okay, you had a bad game, you know what, this is what I was watching, this is where you did wrong, you know what, it's over, it's done with, you can't do anything about it, try, you know, let's work on this, bam. So there are parents on the other side of the spectrum also.
Absolutely. That I have to say, the parents here, yeah, you have one or two.
Right,
You know, there could be a handful that, don't want to call them a problem, but could be a problem at time from time
Right.
to time. But for the most
technical issue.
right, for the most part, the parents here are phenomenal. You got to tell them the way it is, and that's the way it is, and they follow it.
Okay.
So it's, sure, and
the
there
coaching staff does get their support for the most part.
Yes, absolutely. Touching base on that, yeah, the parent, if a parent comes up to us and says, little Johnny is struggling in school, his grades are dropping, I'm going to pull him off the team. Well, absolutely. When school starts, school is first.
Okay.
Homework is home. They're home in enough time to get their homework done. Homework should not be an excuse. But if it is, it is. School first. When school starts, of course, it goes family, school, football.
Right.
We put family first. Still like to have them here.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah. So
Different, especially in this world. I mean, everybody, you know, it seems like everyone has a different situation and things like that. So, and things do come up that, you know, your best laid plans, fate. What I say, the fates don't always agree with. You know, as a coach or, you know, for anyone alive.
right.
So, now I also want to just real quick get into the actual coaching aspect.
Okay.
The coaches make it look so damn easy
No, it's
to
not.
figure out the plays, to figure out the defense, the offense. Now, is it more logic or creativity? You know, basically left brain, right brain, or is it a combination of both? Because you have to be creative to come up with the plays.
Oh, you have to keep. I'm more of offensive minded kind of coach. So
Okay.
I run the offense at the 130s. You got to keep the defense guessing. So you're always trying to make them guess.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, and with 26 years experience in youth level, you like somebody just off the street comes in to coach youth football. It's not going to be easy.
Right.
You have to read defenses. You have to know how to run an offense. You know, so
it's a lot more than just the book.
correct.
Okay.
You got to have a brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you got to have common sense.
Okay. So it's a combination of basically left brain, right brain, and street and book smarts essentially, common sense and intellect.
Correct.
So basically, you're more the type of the best defense is a good offense coach.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. And my buddy Ron, who is also a director here, he would disagree with that because he ran the defense, and he's
Right.
if he keeps points off the board, then allows us to score points.
Right.
So
I'm sure you two complement each other very well, though.
absolutely.
So-
I would love. He's actually just doing the director role again this year. I would love for him to come back on the field with me, but
Okay.
it is what it is.
Well, we'll be showing up for one of the practices, kind of like the phase 2, and then for one. Games are usually in the morning, correct? On the week.
They start if we have a home game here, which is it's September 13th, I think. It's the second week.
I'll be putting a link up so people
okay.
can check it out.
We start here at 10 o'clock,
Okay, good. The reason why I said that is because
and that'll be the flags.
after Music Fest and after summer, things like in the area, as far as for what my magazine covers, doesn't start till the afternoon or evening. So phase 3 I'll actually be covering a game and doing
that'd be great.
doing an article on the game. So I actually have a 3-phase plan for this. You're just the guinea pig on part 1.
Oh, I'm a guinea pig. Thanks.
So basically, we're going to wind this out, and this is something, I don't care if it's an artist, I don't care, business owner, whatever. Best advice you could give to parents and kids who want to get kids who want to get involved in sports, not so much for ones that are already there, but who, parents who might want to say, well, my kid has a lot of energy, let's get him involved in sports. Or the kid who's like, okay, well, I really love football, I really love baseball, I'm sorry, I don't think they consider chess a sport yet. Hey, when they poker is, and I'm like, huh?
Well, all I can say is, one, if your child has a lot of energy, yes, this is the route to go. Not only do we teach football here, but we also teach them discipline and try to be a better person in general, not just learn football.
You teach them life skills.
Life skills here at Fullerton. I don't know what they do at other organizations, but here that's what we try to do. Me personally, growing up, I was the one who always went outside. Was never. Mom had to always call for dinner. I came in, quick ate, went right back outside.
It wasn't until they invented Atari.
Right, correct. Because now pretty much, and I have to be. I'm an older person, and I still enjoy the video games from time to time. But the kids nowadays are just hooked on that, and they need to get out and experience.
Part of that reason is because the video games are becoming closer and closer to mimicking
real life.
I mean, I still remember when The Sims 1 came out. My belated wife and I, we played that thing. We switched out 24 straight hours. And then when they came out with The Sims 3, where your character actually, died of old age like they do in real life. The video games themselves, the sports games, you look at the graphics and the first person, they're coming so close to mimicking the true virtual world, which I believe we'll be living in at some point, and mimicking real life, that it's almost like the kid's like, oh, well, I don't have to, I can just, but that doesn't prepare you for the physical aspect, the true, all the unknown variables that that aren't programmed into that game.
Correct.
So
I mean, it's physical, it's fun. I mean, it's great. You can actually hit somebody legally. If you do it legally, you can physically hit somebody, and you're not going to get
not with the fist.
Right.
Body, the body.
Blocking,
yeah.
The football terminologies of hitting, and You won't get a penalty. You won't get scolded. You won't get yelled at by mom. You know?
You'll probably be like, yeah, he tackled him. Yeah.
Yeah.
One final question, as far as like parents who want to get their kids into any sports, would you suggest that something like, okay, well, like with myself when I was a kid, I wasn't built for football, you know, so I was more of a basketball, baseball type person, even though I was never any good at it. So would you suggest, like, what would you suggest them as far as like deciding what type of sport for their would be best for their child, even if it's not their child's top priority, you know, top interest, it might be number 2 or number 3 on the list. How would you suggest like parents, you know, figure that out? Because sometimes it's not easy.
Well, right. I mean, I'm willing. I'm a person that would be like, you gotta try.
Okay.
Like, if the child does not want to be here, please don't force him.
Okay.
Don't force him at all, because it'll just make things worse.
Right.
So if he doesn't want to be here from day one, don't bother. Don't push him to it, because he'll hate it more.
Right.
So if football's not his sport, then football's not his sport. Try something else. But be active. That's really all I have. I mean, you can pretty much tell who can play football and who can't.
Right.
But from a director, parent, coach level, if a parent signs their child up, we will coach him to the fullest. To the point where if he's on that field and he doesn't want to be there, it now becomes a safety issue.
Okay.
Then we have to address it with the parent. We either remove him or we don't tell. I don't like children to quit.
Right.
But if it's not for him, it's not for him.
Basically, you try to basically, okay, steer them in a different direction while still staying on the same path.
Correct.
Just taking a different lane, for lack of a better term.
Correct.
You know,
I've seen children just last year that you could tell football wasn't their sport,
right.
but they played the whole season. They're not here this year, but that's okay.
They didn't give up.
They didn't quit.
Okay. Well,
That will make that child a better person, because he's not quitting.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you very much for all of your time. Hopefully you enjoyed the interview.
I did.
And part 1 will be live in this week's edition. Part 2 will be live in next week. So, and there will. Do you want to give a quick plug on the website and Facebook page?
Our website is fmpaa.org, I believe.
Okay.
Excuse me if I'm wrong. I apologize.
Look up Fullerton, PA football. You'll find it. Google it or Bing
on
it.
Facebook, if you type in Fullerton Ramblers football, we have a Facebook page. Myself, Chris Pez, and Ron Huntsberger are the ones who.
And chances are all the updates will be there. We
try to keep up with that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know I had a great time. I actually learned about the sport and some aspects that I never knew about even though I used to love the Philadelphia Eagles when we were kids.
Me too.
I'm sorry, I will go on record as saying this: Philadelphia teams, if there's a way to lose, they will find it. If they've used up everyone in that book, they will burn it and write a new one. And we're going on record as saying that.
Before we go off, can I just
Yes.
mention one thing? Just a shout out to the league that we're affiliated with. It's called Lehigh Valley Youth Football League. They also have a website, so you can look that up.
I'll include that also.
Okay.
This way, everybody gets. I always try to make sure everybody gets credit. Even like I was over at Main Gate for their bike night, and Scott Marshall and his band were there, and I saw one photographer there taking photos for the band and everything. So it's like, gotta get people behind the scenes.
Correct.
Because they never get the credit they deserve. So thank you very much, Coach.
You.
It's been a pleasure.